This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month, you gain access to not one, but two whole podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like playing anything, and instead we just want to talk over something and razz it. And $2 a month, if you don't want the commentary track, you can kick in just $2 and get That's Hell You're Walking Into, a podcast about Fate Stay Night, and the Nasuverse, an FGO, a game that I have not played lately for certain reasons. But what happens is that Ben will bring me questions about the Nasuverse and all of its wriggling tentacles, I suppose. And I will do my damnedest to answer them. It's a lot of fun. So if either of those sound interesting, head on over to patreon.com/thegorge. Kick in however much you can afford. Even $2 helps us. And we appreciate everyone who does.
And we also have some Patreon goals. At $200 a month, you get a bonus monthly stream called The Bad Game, where we will play something very bad. Mm-hmm. Our next game, once we hit that goal, will be The Bouncer. We have been on kind of a Square Enix kick lately for various reasons, and I would love to play The Bouncer.
Yes, please. I would like to play a bad Square Enix game. So, we appreciate all of you.
Yep, and thank you to JT, Steel Condor, Nihar Bot, Red Lantern Reviews, Holy Star 64, Patrick Perez, Roddy 1/2, Saturn, Alice Marks, Shia, Magus, Jack, Liam Lane, and that other one dude.
Thank you all. We love you.
So it is another one of our news episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about what we've been doing, and then we're going to talk about what other people have been doing.
Ben, what have we been doing?
Okay, let me ask this first. Have you done anything besides play Final Fantasy XIV?
I watched the Dan Olsen video about NFTs. And that's about it, other than play Final Fantasy XIV, yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to say about that?
The Dan Olsen video?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's the folding ideas video called "The Number Go Up," the problem with NFTs, or line goes up, the problem with NFTs. It's extremely good. It is a 2 hour and 18 minute long video that basically succinctly breaks down like every single argument you could possibly have for NFTs and cryptocurrency. Like, not just NFTs, but crypto in general, and how it really isn't even a currency. It is part of a bigger fool scam. And yeah, I highly recommend it, especially as, people keep insisting that NFTs are the future. If they're not. It is an excellent way to go and get, I can't imagine the amount of research that had to, because crypto is intentionally obfuscated to seem more complicated, so that the people who deal in it will look more intelligent.
Yep.
And so this is a really good video that must have just taken. Obviously, if you're on Twitter, you saw that Dan Olsen was doing a thing. He said, I'm accepting the invite of every spam invite to NFT discords that I get in my DMs. So obviously this was research for this project. I cannot imagine the amount of research and effort that went into breaking this all down. It's insanely informative, very, very well laid out so that normal people can understand it, extensively reached and sourced. And yeah, it's caught on. I'm glad it's already got 1.5 million views. So people are obviously interested, especially because it breaks this down into such digestible chunks. It is very long, but the video is divided into chapters, so you can go at it piece by piece if you want. Mm-hmm. I just listened to it while I worked, and it's very easy to process. I like it a lot.
And it doesn't sound like it'd be a very visual video anyway.
The majority of the visuals are charts, kind of visual aids to help maybe kind of demonstrate a point, and pictures of tweets that function as additional means of proving a point. Otherwise, you can just sit and listen to it while you work and treat it as a podcast. I have it open on my iPad. I had it open on my iPad when I was working, so I could glance at it and see what he was saying. And I highly recommend it. It's not as funny as the Defunct Land line video, but it is significantly more useful. So I think you should go watch it.
It's validating.
It is validating. Yeah, it's very validating. And it does a really good job of you kind of know in your gut that crypto is a scam, but you have a hard time articulating it because it is so intentionally overcomplicated.
Yeah.
And this video does a good job of being like, no, you are right. This is a scam, and this is why.
When you try to think no, there has to be more to it than this, and they're like, no, it's not.
It is a speculative market. It's the idea that you can't actually. I mean, you can do gimmick purchases with Bitcoin, but you can't actually buy anything. Easily with cryptocurrency?
Did I tell you I posted a tweet of it? But I tell you, when I was job searching, one of the places I applied to having to fill out an application on their site, and one of the questions was, "We will pay you in Bitcoin. Is this acceptable?"
No, it's not acceptable. Actually, all you would do is just turn it into dollars, but that is such a highly fluctuating market that you should never accept to be paid in Bitcoin.
No.
And it really does come down to the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is what you typically buy NFTs with, you can't really purchase anything with them. You have to convert them into dollars. And the thing is that because you can't really buy anything with them, it's a speculative market. People are buying them with the hopes of them appreciating in value later on down the line. So they hold no real purpose other than, and NFTs exist to get you to buy crypto. Because the only way crypto can have value is if people keep buying into the scam. So NFTs are a way to make people think don't you want this thing?
It's FOMO.
It's FOMO, yeah. They're using FOMO to convince you to buy crypto, in the hopes of appreciating the value of the coins they already own, that's called a bigger fool scam. Yep. You are trying to sell a bigger fool to buy into essentially your Ponzi scheme.
It's selling makeup for dude bros.
It is dude bros. Yeah, it is Mary Kay for men, essentially. It's selling leggings or makeup or jewelry, but for men instead. Yeah. So, like I said, highly, highly recommend it. It's very digestible. It flies by. You will come out of it understanding a hot topic with far more clarity than you did before. And I think that's actually very important because people are trying to convince randos around you that NFTs are the future. And this is why, because they are looking to scam people out of their money. So, inform yourself. And a more informed person is a harder to scam person.
Yep.
So, go watch it. It's good.
We do have some NFT articles on this docket this week, so that'll be fun. So, do you want me to cover what I have done besides FF14, or do you want to do the FF14 right now?
Let's do what you've done besides Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, okay. Not a whole lot because of Final Fantasy 14.
Whoops.
I did finish Like a Dragon.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
And then Like a Dragon rewarded me by stabbing me in the heart.
No.
Like a Dragon has one of the harshest and most not realistic, but like heartfelt endings I've ever seen. Okay, I've never seen crying as real as Yakuza 7.
Nice. So full-on ugly crying.
Yeah, there are 2 instances of crying in this game that are realer than I've ever seen in anything.
Okay.
They're amazing. There's one where a character is trying to hold back, and you can hear his voice cracking, and like he does that like hitched breath while he tries to fight back the tears.
So
and it's really great.
And you played it dubbed, right?
Yeah.
So
dub is phenomenal. Oh my! Like everyone absolutely nails it with this dub. Like there's not a single bad voice in this dub, and I'm sure the sub is great, as well. Because, it's the Yakuza cast. They've been doing this for fucking forever.
Right.
But between this and what I've seen of Judgment and Lost Judgment, goddamn, yes, please dub every Yakuza game going forward.
Yes, dub your Yakuza games, because it makes them sell better.
Yeah, they have done such a fantastic job. And the second instance of crying is full-on, unrestrained, sobbing. His eyes are turning red.
Right.
Crying. And that's the power of the PS5, baby. You can actually watch this character's, entire demeanor shift and, the color drain from his face as he's crying.
That's some good stuff.
Really
real emotions going on.
Holy shit, Yakuza 7 is a fantastic game, and I'm going to bug you for a very long time to play it.
Okay, I'll get right on that with all the other things I gotta play.
Remember how right I was about Transformers?
Uh-huh.
I'm right about this, too.
It's on the list.
Okay, I know there's a gigantic 400-hour boulder you have to get over.
Yeah, I have to climb over that and also play Nier at some point. So, it's in there somewhere. There's like a little hand sticking out of the ocean of Final Fantasy, and it's just Ichiban being like, "Help me!" And I'm like, "I'll get down there eventually, I swear."
So yeah, that's fantastic. When I finished it, I had to double check Ichiban's gonna be in the next Yakuza game, right? And yeah, there's an interview a year ago where they were talking to Ichiban's voice actor, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna count on you for the next 10 years."
Oh, good. Okay.
So they have a lot of plans to really make Ichiban the next Kiryu. It's not going to be a one-off.
Awesome
thing. Also, Koichi Adachi is one of my favorite JRPG characters of all time.
Great.
He's fucking incredible. Holy shit. He gets the most cathartic moment ever.
Awesome.
What else? I binged all of Smiling Friends. It wasn't hard. There's only 8 episodes and they're all 10 minutes long.
That's the one that's got Mike in it, right? Mike Saklasa? Yeah. He's in it.
Yes, Mike Saklasa is in the first episode. It's the show. It's the Oni Plays guys. I don't know any of their names, but it's 2 guys from Oni Plays.
Okay, I don't know what Oni Plays is either.
It's an LP channel.
Oh, okay.
And Oni NG does animations.
Okay.
And stuff. But yeah, so 2 of those guys got to do a show on Adult Swim. I wasn't a fan of the pilot when it came out. I thought it was funny, but it didn't rock my world like the trailer for Learning with Pibby did.
Sure.
But the show is hilarious. It really captures the vibe of old school Adult Swim.
Right.
With Rick and Morty level of well, not Rick and Morty, but higher level of animation budget. Because it's that idea of old Aqua Teen episodes where it's a really, really mundane problem, but the guy they're going up against is a weird villain.
Okay.
It's their landlord is a 4,000-year-old vampire in Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so it's kind of that idea.
Right.
So they're going around doing their job and solving things, but it's the people they're interacting with are always weird creatures.
Weird fucked up monsters.
Yeah. But it's fucking hilarious, and they do a really good job of having natural conversations, I guess, because they are podcasters and LPers.
Sure, they're just used to riffing.
Yeah, they're good at just talking over each other, and you can tell here is the improv bit. But it's really funny. They are also, speaking of good voice acting, really, really good voice actors.
Good. Okay. Funny.
Yeah. So, and they get a ton of like random ass cameos.
So it is like old Adult Swim.
James Rolfe is in an episode for a bit. I think it's Kira Buckland does a bunch of voices.
Okay.
They got Chills, the creepypasta guy on YouTube.
Mm-mm.
He does like a one-line bit.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. There's tons of like Newgrounds and like YouTube stars that just like, I'm gonna be in one episode,
right?
And then that's it. Yeah, it's like because Adult Swim just dumped the whole season in one night.
Oh yeah, okay.
They were just like
Netflix approach.
Yeah, we're just like, but it was like on Cartoon Network. Like we're just gonna marathon all 8 episodes.
Ah, that's real Adult Swim right there.
Yeah. So yeah, really good. I hope they get another season. Fun. And then AGDQ happened. I haven't watched a lot of runs, but the ones I have been really good. It feels like they have finally found their feet with the online only aspect of it, because there's a lot less awkwardness.
Right.
There's a lot more referencing the chat going on. So like you can still kind of get that crowd involvement and interaction. Yeah, I did the Donkey Kong Country 2 race. I'm getting really into watching the Kaizo Mario runs. Those are always fun because it's that pressure of beating a really, really hard level, but doing it quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are always fun. And yeah, that's really about it. The rest of my time has been consumed by Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn.
Oopsie. It got us. Oh god, it's really good.
It's tons of fun. I'm really mad that it's fun, and like I don't, because I'm still in A Realm Reborn. I don't have too much to talk about plot wise,
and I can't tell you anything that happens plot wise for extremely obvious reasons.
Because you're an entire expansion ahead of me. Yes,
I finished the main chunk of Heavensward. I hit credits on Heavensward, so I am now in the patch quest. I'm like, obviously we've talked about this before, but it works. Like there's the main thing, and then the patch quests that bridge the gap between that thing and the next X pack. So I have begun the patch quest phase of Heavensward. In Heavensward, so when Heavensward came out, I remember when Heavensward came out, I was not playing Final Fantasy XIV, because at that time, even though A Realm Reborn was like salvaging its reputation, it was still, well, Final Fantasy XIV's that bad MMO, right? Yeah, it was back when the public perception was still that it's bad. Right. But and then when Heavensward came out, everybody on the internet was like, wait, is this good? Did they fix it? Did they fix this? Did they make this good, actually? Yes, they did make this good, actually. Heavensward is incredible. I am stunned by it, just by the immediate. So it starts kind of in the patch quest for A Realm Reborn is like when the good begins. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a noticeable boost in writing quality when you go from base game A Realm Reborn to patch quest Realm Reborn. Yeah, it's incredible, honestly. And then it just gets better from when you actually hit Heavensward. And I was just stunned, and I was done. There is the final trial of Heavensward is the rawest fucking thing that this game has ever. And when I realized what was happening, I think you guessed it. Didn't you guess it? I guessed what the final boss is. Okay. I called that because you called that shot. We in the Discord we're all like, we hang out in the chat, like, or in the voice chat, like while we do stuff, and like usually it's okay, Ben, go mute because we're going to talk about plot stuff for a little bit. I need you to turn off your headphones. And I'm usually not hanging out like physically with you guys because I'm off doing quests and junk. Right. But you were talking about
like Oates in the Discord was like waiting for you to see what was happening. And she was like, "It's a Final Fantasy VII thing," and I was like, "Oh, is it blank?" And
no, it's like, yeah. You guessed one. It's like, no, it's not that. And you said, "Oh, is it this?" And I'm like, "God damn it!" And it was that.
I was like, okay, there's only like 3 Final Fantasy VII things it could be that would make Sara mark out like this.
Sure.
And I don't think it's just Sephiroth pops up.
It's not Sephiroth pops up. It is something extremely FF7 that is not like Sephiroth or Shinra or anything like that. And when I realized what was happening, when I realized who the final trial is, I lost my goddamn mind. It was 12:30, almost 1 o'clock when we finally hit that spot, and I flipped my shit because of what was happening. So yeah, great final boss, fantastic story, just really, really goddamn good, and I am extremely excited to hit the actual meat of the patch quest because, like, man, it's good.
It turns out this widely popular MMORPG that literally no one will shut up about is good.
I know, it makes me sick. So if you've ever been on our Discord, you know that for a long time, the Final Fantasy XIV quarantine channel was named Stop Asking Me to Play Final Fantasy XIV. And somebody pointed that out to me. And I was like, fuck. So I had to change it. I did just change it to the word fuck because I'm like, God damn it, I got tricked. They got me. So I will continue my slow progress through Final Fantasy XIV, Heavensward, so that I may reach Stormblood and then finally get to Shadowbringers and Endwalker, which is, I suppose, another 300 hours away. Yeah. It's fine.
You gotta get to the good part of the game.
I realized.
So, Sara, go ahead and start this series. It gets good after only 50 episodes.
Yeah, it's fine. I suppose I can't complain about anything when people say that now. I have to just be like, well, I played Final Fantasy XIV and Realm Reborn so that I could get to Heavensward. So I guess I understand. God damn it. It's really wretched because I enjoy it so much and would like to continue playing it. Right now, actually. Yeah. I would like to be playing it as we speak. So yeah.
I really wish I were playing Final Fantasy XIV right now.
Yeah, it's really bad, especially because there's maintenance tonight at like 11 o'clock, and I suppose that's good because I haven't been sleeping as well as I should be because I've been up playing Final Fantasy XIV, as one does. So I guess maintenance is good. It's Yoshi P telling me, go the fuck to sleep. Okay.
Just like how we had to people stop buying it. Mm-hmm. It should... FF14 should be like how old TV used to be. Where just like broadcasting stopped at like 10 o'clock.
Broadcasting stopped at 2 a.m. until about 8 a.m. They just play the national anthem.
Yeah.
What happens is Final Fantasy XIV just turns off if you hit 2 a.m. in your like specific time zone. And it just puts up a card that says we have ended our broadcasting day. Tune back in tomorrow, and then it just plays the medley of Final Fantasy instead of the national anthem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, fine, I'm going to bed. Yoshi P's gonna show up at my house with a gun. Like, go to sleep, please. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't have too much to talk about as far as like it plays great. Mm-hmm. I'm really like being a tank. I'm excited to get to Heavensward so that I can switch to a DPS class.
I switched from DPS to tank, and it's very stressful, but I like it.
I know I can do that now, but there's a specific DPS class I want to switch to. I want to be. I want to get a gun.
You want to get a gun? They're gonna give that Catboy a gun. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna be as extremely vague as humanly fucking possible, but. The person who wrote the Dark Knight quest line for The person who wrote the Dark Knight questline in Heavensward, they eventually said, here, you can write all of Shadowbringers because Dark Knight was so good. And I'd heard that over and over again from many, many people, and now I understand why.
So it's the exact opposite of when that one writer did that one thing that got them banished to the side quest mines.
Yes. The one thing that makes everybody angry in A Realm Reborn's patch quest, and if you've played, you know what we're talking about. And they got banished to writing job quests until the end of time. This is the exact opposite, where someone wrote a job quest so good, they said, Natsuko Ishikawa, do you just want to write Heavensward? Or, fuck, there's so many different names for Shadowbringers and Endwalker. I think she wrote both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were just like, here you go. You're in charge now. Good for her. So everybody loves her. And with good reason. So I am, having now finished the Dark Knight quest, not finished, I've got my Dark Knight up to 60. But having done the meat of the Dark Knight quest line, I understand now, and I am even more excited for Shadowbringers, which will probably turn me into a raving lunatic. So, that's nice. I mean, more so than I already am.
Yeah, that's all I got for now about that. That's
all I got.
It's gonna be hard. Yes, by the way, yes, we are going to be doing an FF14 episode.
There's going to be
at some point.
I don't know how we're gonna do that, because I feel like every expansion pack kind of requires its own episode.
Right.
But that's like a lot of content, so maybe we'll just do Shadowbringers and like we'll just do an episode for Shadowbringers and we'll do an episode for Endwalker, maybe.
Yeah.
Because those are the two most recent and the two that lit everybody's world on goddamn fire.
Yep.
So.
And also, we're so far apart.
We're really not.
Play wise, we're over a week apart.
Okay, but you know.
And I'm not going to ask you to stall playing.
I know, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that long. on a longer times, with the amount of Final Fantasy XIV ahead of you and ahead of me, we may as well be in the same place. You know?
Right.
It's like how if you look at the timeline of the universe, humans and dinosaurs are basically just right next to each other on like the grand scheme of things. That's you and me.
Yeah.
On this timeline of Final Fantasy XIV, we are functionally in the exact same place because you are close to the end of the patch quests and I am beginning the next patch quest. So really, you know, it's fine. We'll figure out a way to talk about it somehow where we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
So somebody had to be the guinea pig to trick the other into playing.
Right.
And that was me this time.
Once I actually get to Heavensward, like, I feel like I'm going to cool off on the rush to finish because we have other podcast content I need to play. And also I'll be out of the bad part of the game.
You'll be out of the bad part of the game. But then you'll also be in the good part of the game. So you'll want to know what's happening. Yeah,
so it'll come more naturally. Like the push to finish won't be as strong.
Yeah, exactly. You won't have to you won't feel like you're dragging your feet. You'll be like, oh, I'm just humming along at a merry pace. The only reason I was kind of hit by it, and really if I don't know what level Machinist starts you out at. I need to look that up before you get to it. But for me, Dark Knight starts you at 30. And then you have to get 20 levels if you want to do the plot content of Heavensward with your Dark Knight. You've got to grind out 20 levels to get there.
Ah, okay.
So I will say, I have become a crazy person because I grinded 20 levels in 2 days. Maybe 2.5 days.
Well, hell, you just need a weekend.
I just need a weekend.
Do that.
Yeah. I've been turned into a crazy person at this point. I'm just like, yeah, I can do this. It's fine. Every time. And the thing is that every time you get a level, right, you're like, well, that wasn't so bad. I could get another one.
Yeah.
And then you get another one. And then you do that for 20 hours. And it's fine. Hopefully Machinist doesn't do that to you.
Yeah, I'll look
Otherwise, just
into
keep
it.
playing as your tank. Or grind out 20 levels as well. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I extremely like Final Fantasy 14. A lot. A whole lot. So please look forward to those episodes at some point down the line.
Shoot, what else did I have to say? Join our Discord and hang out with us playing it.
Yeah, play Final Fantasy 14 with us. It's fun. We did Crystal Tower last night for Ben, and it sucked ass. The third part sucked ass because we got some really rancid healers.
We had bad healers and dumbass tanks. It was great.
It was great. We did Crystal Tower and just had to deal with these fucking morons who didn't know how to handle the bosses in Crystal Tower, and I'm just like, okay, this is fine.
Was it Oates or Saturn who was like, Ben, just turn off your tank stance?
Yeah, I think it was Saturn who was like, turn off tank stance. And then you did, and it was great. It was just like, you know what, who cares? We're on our own. Fuck you, people. Absolutely abysmal fucking healers.
We kept getting healed and rezzed by people who weren't in our group.
Yeah, they weren't. We were getting heals from people who weren't in our alliance because our own healers were such dog shit. So that's the extent of how bad Crystal Tower was. But
I had fun.
I'm glad you had fun. 1 and 2 went very smoothly. It was 3 that was dog shit. So it's fine. We had a good time. Raids are fun. So,
yeah, they are.
Like I said, I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 14. Just consume it. Oh, you did meet the cowboy everybody's obsessed with.
Yeah, Gratia. He's cool.
He's cool. He's a good little boy. He's just a little man. I was informed by other people again in the Discord that they kind of fuck, because I mean they're the developers. They can do whatever the fuck they want. So Graha is shorter than any male Mikote player character. He has the height of female Mikote player characters.
Amazing.
So he's just a little boy.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
He's a little birthday guy.
He's just my little birthday kitty boy, you know? We love him. So, oh yeah, you need to finish Crystal Tower's plot at some point.
I need to do, well, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Then he'll come back. He'll be important. You already know that because the problem is that everybody I know already played Final Fantasy 14, so certain things are inescapable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you just can't get away with can't get away from certain facts, the fact that Graha is around.
And the benefit is that kind of like with say JoJo, the memes and inside jokes are impenetrable.
Oh, utterly.
If you don't know.
Utterly. I have seen certain characters that I'm sure my friends are like, I wish you hadn't seen, but I can't help it. They lifted the spoiler embargo way too early, and so I just see things. Even with having Final Fantasy 14 words blocked on Twitter, I still see things.
Right, but it's like every FF14 meme is like when Plumbo finally lands in Bloodbone Island, and it's like a gif of the minions cheering. Yeah. Those are nothing words to me. I'm not going to recall any of that information.
It's do you remember when and this was years and years ago, but you watched The Princess Bride very late.
It was Star Wars.
Was it actually just Star Wars?
Where I was like, oh, all these lines of dialogue are Star Wars references.
Everything makes sense now. It's suddenly like the Rosetta Stone of your entire life clicks into place.
Yeah. And
you just flash back to everything you've ever seen and been like, that was a Star Wars reference. And that was a Star... And I'm doing that with, other nerd shit. I'm like, these are Final Fantasy 14 references. I am seeing the meme lines now. It's
like how kids don't know who Peter Lorre is, except that he's a weird bug-eyed guy who shows up on Looney Tunes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how many things growing up do we know from the parody first before even knowing the real thing existed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, do you think any kid knew who Orson Welles was or why Maurice LaMarche was doing that weird voice for Brain?
Oh yeah, huh? That's true.
No, it was just Maurice LaMarche being like, "Hey, can I do an Orson Welles impression for this tiny mouse character?"
And they were like, "That's hilarious. Do it." And yeah, that's the same feeling as Final Fantasy XIV, where it's suddenly everything makes sense now. I see things and I go, "Hang on a second, I know what that is now." Oh my god! So I'm enjoying. Obviously, I've talked extensively about how much I'm enjoying it. So please continue to look forward to your Final Fantasy XIV update because I will keep playing it a lot.
Yeah, that's all I really did because, and we'll be doing more stuff when the shiny veneer of FF14 finally does wear off, and we're like, I need to play something else or my head is going to crack in half.
I need to eat other food or I'll die. Oh God. Okay.
So let's do the news.
We
got some bad news, we got some good news, and we got some funny news.
Cool, hit me.
Report, Bobby Kotick is still trying to hide the scale of Activision's problems.
Yeah, who knew?
Who could have thought that
I guess
still shoving things under the rug and into closets.
And burying them in shallow graves, almost certainly.
Yeah.
This ties into, I'm sure, is another piece of news, so we might as well put it here as well. Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion with a B dollars. This is one of the biggest purchases or merger purchases, basically ever, outpaced only by the Time Warner purchase and Disney buying Fox.
Yep.
It is massive. I think Kotick is out.
Yes. The only spark of good news in Microsoft's ever growing monopoly is that they have ousted Bobby Kotick.
So Bobby Kotick will be out, which is pretty good. The fact that he's getting a huge payout sucks ass, but that happens everywhere.
We cannot. It was unavoidable.
It was unavoidable.
They were never going to fire him and take him everything from him.
Right. Again, because Kotick is also like a majority owner of ActiBliz, so it was just never going to happen. He probably wrote that contract himself.
Remember the bit when we did the Spider-Man 2 or the Spider-Man commentary takeout, and we were like, can they just fire Norman Osborn like that? Doesn't he own a huge majority of the company?
His name is still on the company, so you would think. No, they cannot. They probably could not actually fire Norman like that, and they cannot fire Bobby Kotick like that because I guess it is. I guess it is good because now we don't get Bobby Kotick in a Green Power Rangers outfit. So that's cool. Everything else.
And at least he's gone.
He's gone, but I mean, he'll go somewhere else almost certainly. You know, these people never get their just desserts unless he gets hit by a car or something, inshallah. And it is, what is even the purpose of the FTC? I mean, surely to just let this merger go through.
Yeah.
The entire this buy is valued at $6. By the way, one, cowardice to not just make it $69 billion.
Yeah.
6.8 or 68.7. Just tack on the last 300 million and get us to a clean 69. Nice. But by some estimations, the game industry itself is worth $171 billion. This is a third of that.
Yeah.
So, why do we even have... I mean, I know it's because the FTC is not actually really there to prevent any, mergers. It's been utterly gutted by the hands of capital to make sure that these people can just be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, as much as they want forever. But still, that is functionally the purpose of the FTC, is to keep one of the largest participating members of the gaming industry from merging with one of the other largest participating members of the gaming industry and creating a functional monopoly by way of Disney. You would think that is when somebody goes, hey,
No.
No, you ain't supposed to be doing that. Hold on. Time out. But no. This will probably go off without a hitch.
I'm looking at the screenshot or the picture of what they get out of this. Obviously, big games: Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the company names that they're getting. It kind of really drives this home, and how much Microsoft absorbed and how much Activision Blizzard absorbed.
Right.
Because they also get Treyarch, Raven, High Moon, Beanox, Infinity Ward, Demonware, Toys for Bob, and Sledgehammer.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that they are getting such a massive chunk. And the one thing that is interesting is that Microsoft owns a shit ton of companies, but they still can't seem to put things out.
This will not make Overwatch 2 come out.
This will not make, like, Microsoft themselves. They put out Halo Infinite, and I really haven't heard. I mean, the multiplayer obviously made a splash, but it doesn't seem to have been the massive cultural shift that everybody was hoping for. And obviously, by all accounts, the campaign is dog shit from what I've heard. And so, but then other than that, like Microsoft's first party development stuff, not counting Bethesda, nothing has really come out. I guess Forza finally came out, but they still have a hard time managing projects and getting games out the door. And this isn't going to change if they buy Actibliz. So I don't really know. It's a very interesting thing to be happening. Apparently, Phil Spencer has said that they are going to honor exclusivity contracts for Call of Duty and other things like that.
Well, they would be stupid and not allow Call of Duty to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, that would be dumb as dog shit. I mean, they would literally be getting paid by their biggest rival. Of course, they're going to let that be on PlayStation. But it's just this is all very interesting because I saw people speculating on this. So Call of Duty's lifetime sales, the entire franchise, is only $17 billion. Only, I say in finger quotes.
Right.
These numbers become so huge that they mean nothing. But Call of Duty's lifetime sales are only $17 billion, and they just bought Actibliz for almost $69 billion. So the unless Microsoft is planning to do media company shit, like making TV shows and movies and stuff as well, there is no reasonable timeline for them to make this money back.
Unless they are banking on Overwatch and WoW.
No, that'd be naive. And I can only imagine that they're banking on trying to get more games on Game Pass, but Game Pass only has so much of a reach. I'm not anti-Game Pass by any means. Obviously, I don't like the idea of not being able to own the digital shit you buy, which is why I think Game Pass sucks ass. But they're obviously trying to expand their stable so they can just have more things guaranteed on Game Pass. They're trying to Netflixify the industry.
Yeah. I also just think that this was, hey, Actibliz is in the shit right now.
Yeah.
Good time to buy them up.
Yeah, Actibliz's stock value went down by 30% as a result of everything that was going on with Blizzard and Kotick. We
can buy them, throw Kotick out, and by throw out I mean give him like $5 billion.
I think he literally gets a $250 million payout just for getting fired, and
then send him on his merry way. We get to be the heroes.
Sure.
And then when people buy Overwatch again because they got rid of it, we'll reap the rewards.
Yeah. I imagine it's something like that, but it's still very I don't know. Obviously it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because it is, again, a third of the industry being conglomerated under a single umbrella.
Yeah.
which is bad by any measure. It's bad when Disney does it. It's extremely bad when Disney does it because, of course, the complete obliteration of culture as we know it. It's bad when Disney does it. It was bad when Microsoft did it back in the 90s and actually did get hit with an antitrust lawsuit. And were slapped with fines and penalties and all sorts of other shit for being a monopoly. So it's very funny to me. I guess they know that the FTC is probably the weakest it's ever been, so they can just kind of do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like this is the beginning of trying to monopolize an entire industry. And the one cool thing, I suppose, is that new studios will always keep popping up.
Right.
And and I mean, like at this point, the indie dev space is still the more interesting thing in video games right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, we'll see what happens. People are, of course, clamoring for Sony to buy shit, which would be stupid. And Sony's options would be Japanese game studios, which is, as we said in the past, Japanese game studios are a far more complicated beast to purchase. Sony could not just... I mean, like, they could probably spend the money and buy Square Enix, but when you buy Square Enix, you're not just buying a games development studio the way that you do when you buy a game company in the United States. You're buying cafes in Shibuya. You know, like you're buying a lot of other shit.
And also, Japanese studios are already pretty much dominated by Sony anyway, like sales wise. It's,
you know, it would just be a way to... I mean, it would just be a way to kind of continue to fractionalize not fractionalize, the industry even further. Balkanization, but it's video game studios instead of the Balkans.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I mean, you can't just buy Sega.
Yeah, you can't.
Sega has arcade. Well, no, they still have one. They shut one of them down, but they have arcades and Akihabara. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
and they have...
You're buying property as well in Tokyo.
Yeah. So it's not nearly the same. It would not work out the same way.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. So it's... And I don't want that anyway, because again, it's just going to turn it even more and more into Sony versus Microsoft.
Yeah, just two competing monopolies. Yeah. And that's not what you should be cheering for. You should be hoping that they stop the buyout.
Like, Microsoft is not going to make new Crash and Spyro games now that they own Activision.
Toys for Bob has already been gutted.
Yeah, they're still in the Call of Duty mines.
Yeah, all of the creatives that were responsible for every Toys for Bob's output, they all quit. Most of them either got laid off or they went off to new studios when it turned out that Toys for Bob was being sent to the Activision Call of Duty mines. They left. They didn't stick around to go work in the mines.
It is exactly the same thing as when Microsoft bought Rare.
Right.
The people who made Banjo-Kazooie are gone.
They don't work there
anymore.
They are
at Playtonic now. Mm-hmm. So it's not. They're not going to do that. So don't even get your hopes up.
The only thing we can hope for at this point is that we will get another Obsidian Fallout. And that's probably the only thing you can hope for.
Right.
Really. So, it's messy. It's not great. But at the same time, I mean, the AAA games space has never been more dog shit.
Well, yeah, for as far as consumers go, you're not going to see a change.
No.
We're not going to see in the production value of these games, nothing's going to change.
Right.
It's still going to be the same. Call of Duty and Diablo and whatever they want to throw out next. It's in the matter of where the money is going and what they can now cover up.
Yeah, and of course this is, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if part of this was also to snuff out the growing labor movement at Actiblizz. Because by having it bought by Microsoft, they now fall into an even larger kind of monopoly that makes it even harder to try and organize. But also, I know that the QA staff at Raven officially unionized.
Yep, that was on the docket too. So we're just getting all of them out of the way.
We're just going to get that out of the way right now. Yeah, the QA staff at Raven is by, I think, the first ever unionized major studio, like wing of a major studio. They came back and they said, they're asking management to voluntarily recognize their union. That probably won't happen. In which case they will go on strike.
Yeah.
Good for them. So I feel like this is an attempt to also snuff out, because like the one thing nobody in the games industry wants, the one thing that nobody in power in the game industry wants is for their employees to start unionizing left and right, and that is a movement that is gaining traction more and more every day. Yep. So I'm really, I highly suspect this is part of, because Microsoft is extremely good at union busting. They have all kinds of things in place to bust unions at Microsoft, and I feel like I literally would not be surprised if that was part of it. It was that there was a huge dip in stock value, so it was the best, buy the dip, as they say. And also to be like, hey, we have a problem with people at ActiBliz wanting to unionize. If we get bought out now, and that is actually also a really good excuse to fire organizing employees, as they've been now bought by a new company and need to be downsized or restructured is another word they like to use. This is a good excuse to restructure away all of those organizing employees.
Like, while this was happening, there was a TikTok that got posted from Adam of Adam Ruins Everything. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's why my show got canceled.
Yep.
And it's because a studio bought this other studio and gutted our studio. Mm-hmm. And that's just what happens when companies buy smaller companies, is they gut the creative team.
Yeah, of course, it's like the first thing that happens. And that will probably happen with ActiBliz too. That happened with it was the Time Warner. It was the Time Warner merge. 45,000 people lost their jobs.
But the thing is, like, buying Activision Blizzard, what's left to gut?
I know, right?
ActiBliz already gutted every studio they bought.
I know. So I'm sure they will Capital always finds way to shave people's lives down and utterly destroy them. So we shall see. I would not be surprised if there was a massive layoffs at Activision that just happened to catch the organizers in its net. Oops.
Did you just say Activision?
Yeah,
that's good.
It is good.
I like that, actually.
Activision. That's what they're called now here on the Gorge. Activision.
And then one final cap on the Activision kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard reportedly considered buying Kotaku and PC Gamer. Boy, could you imagine if that happened?
It would have been just like the exact same as what had happened with, how Deadspin is just like a ghost of its former self because it got bought and it was then promptly gutted by management and editorial to stop being, stick to sports and stop doing politics. That would have just happened here as well, where it was been a massive walk-offs. I mean, a lot of the people who still work at Kotaku don't really like working at Kotaku because they are so constrained by shitty management. Because, again, a massive conglomeration purchased Gawker Media after the lawsuit. And because they were cheap, just like what was happening with ActiBliz. And, but a lot of people who still work at Kotaku is because it is still one of the better paying video game journalism jobs in the industry.
Yeah, for sure.
But I still feel like if Bobby Kotick had bought Kotaku and PC Gamer, there just would have been a massive walkout.
Yep.
That wouldn't have done anything to stop the bad press. It would have made the press worse, actually. The
press would have been reporting on how Bobby Kotick is trying to silence the press by buying it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a great idea.
That is someone was talking about this. I think maybe it was Pat and Wooly were talking about how, like, when you see like a hostage situation or something, right? Like, on the news or whatever, and you're like, does the guy holding the hostages think he's gonna get out of this?
Right.
And it's like, what does he think is going to happen how is this going to end positively for him? And the idea is that, well, he's not. Mm-hmm. It's just that he's this far in and he's just trying to buy time for the inevitable, right? And the idea is, well, a rational person would never get in that situation in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what Bobby Kotick is right now. Where it's like, one way or another, this is going to end with him getting out of Activision Blizzard. Just
trying to avoid any additional bad press.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk away from all of this with $250 million in cold hard cash. And
if this means we don't have to hear from him ever again,
cool.
Fine, I guess. He was never going to leave in handcuffs. Like, that was never an option.
He's too rich. No, yeah. Bobby Kotick was never going to be walked out of the door in handcuffs. And anybody who thought that is naive. No offense, but yeah.
As much as we want it to happen, it was never going to happen. We
can pray for
redacted Minecraft Roblox.
Yes, thank you.
This is not us compromising because there is no reality in which he gets arrested for it.
Yeah, sorry. We live in the real world where we have seen this happen 1,000 times before, and they don't get arrested.
Like I've seen people talking about, like, well, why are you compromising on this but not on, like, insert political ideology here? And it's like, because that latter one is possible. People in charge don't want to do it.
Yeah, that could happen, but Bobby Kotick getting arrested, never gonna happen.
No.
Not at least in the current system. Maybe if we lived in a better world, but as Josh Sawyer once said, a better world is possible, but not for me.
if insert political thing here happened, we might live in the world where Bobby Kotick could get arrested.
But yeah,
but we don't.
The likelihood of that happening is also slim to none at this point. So
it's a chain effect. It's a chain effect. We need one thing to happen first before we can even think about the other thing.
This shit all happens one after another. Sorry, guys.
So moving on from the Activision Blizzard catastrophe. Turns out the crypto bros who bought Jodorowsky's Dune book aren't sure how rights work.
This one is extremely funny to me.
This is hilarious. This is the most delusional NFT bro thing possible. So a bunch of crypto bros bought an original printing copy of Dune for $3 million.
This is specifically what is that director's first name? Hold on.
Alejandro Jodorowsky?
Yeah, Alejandro Jodorowsky was supposed to direct a version of Dune, and then because of various and sundry funding and studio decisions back in the 70s, it never happened. The project died 2 years into the process. But we still had like a shit ton of concept art and ideas and all kinds of stuff that was supposed to represent Jodorowsky's version of Dune. So
this group called Spice DAO bid on the book, raised money, got $1 million to do it, and I guess they think that this gives them the right to produce their own version of Dune.
This is the funniest part of this is that the book these crypto dorks wasted all of their money on, you can just get for free. There's just a PDF of it on the internet. They're not buying like the lost notes of Alejandro Jodorowsky,
like his handwritten in the margins notes.
Yeah, it's not. You're not buying concept art or scripts or anything like that people have never seen before. Like, in that case, spending that much money on it would make sense because you have purchased a physical rarity that you are now going to show other people. That is not what is happening here. They just bought the book version of a thing you can already get for free on the internet.
So here's the tweet from them. We won the auction for 2.66 million euros. Now our mission is to 1. Make the book public to the extent permitted by law, which it is.
Which it already is.
Yeah. 2, produce an original animated limited series inspired by the book and sell it to a streaming service.
Not how that works.
Not how that works. 3, support derivative projects from the community.
What does that even mean? It's nothing. It's
content that already exists.
It's pablum, yeah.
This is how poisoned NFT bros are.
Yeah, they don't even understand how rights work or how licensing works. You can't just make an animated. Well, for one, you do not have in any version of reality enough money to make an animated series based off of Jodorowsky's Dune.
You just spent $2.6 million or million euros on a book. You could have used that money to maybe help fund an animated series.
Yeah, but even then, you still wouldn't have the rights to it because I don't know who put out this most recent Dune movie, but they own the rights to Dune. Like, they own the movie rights and probably a lot of other rights to Dune. I'm sure that was all tied up into their licensing agreement. So, no, Dune itself is not yet in the public domain. You can't just make a Dune animated series because you bought an overpriced book of something that is, again, already free on the internet. Like, to me, this is insane to me, because if you're spending that much money on something, normally you are consulting with a lawyer before you spend X amount of dollars. Because, I mean, like, really, like, the fabulously wealthy do not consult with lawyers before they spend a shit ton of money, because, I mean, $1.6 million is not a lot of money to them. But if you're a decentralized autonomous organization, which is what a DAO is, hey, again, watch Dan Olson's video about NFTs. He talks about that. You should talk to a lawyer about, if I buy this book, will I have the rights to make an animated series based off the shit in the book? And then the lawyer will look at you and go, "No, moron, why would you think that?"
Do you think the guy that spent like $10 million on a copy of Mario 64 owns Mario?
Do you think somebody who bought Superman, like Action Comics #1, at an auction, do you think he owns the rights to Superman? Is that what's going on here? Do you think that buffalo chicken wings are made out of buffalo?
Quote from Spice DAO, while we do not own the IP to Frank Herbert's masterpiece, we are uniquely positioned with the opportunity to create our own addition to the genre as an homage to the giants who came before us.
So this is you covering your ass because you wasted $1.6 million on a book that you can get for free off the internet.
Also, no, you're not, because again, the book is free and it's a PDF online. Anybody could do what you are proposing to do. Yeah. If you had spent that on, like, I don't know, stock or shares or some kind of licensing contract that you were like hoping to use to kind of like boost yourself in a larger scheme, maybe. But you bought a book.
And you can't do anything with a book, guys. That's how that works.
This is exactly what we talked about last time with NFT bros who just don't understand how the world works. Like, they don't get what capitalism is or how businesses operate.
How businesses operate, or how rights and licensing work, or anything really. They just kind of think, well, we spent the money on it, so that means it's ours now, right? The book is yours.
They live in a world, in a libertarian paradise, where whatever you spend money towards gives you the ability to change it for everyone else. Like, if I buy something, I can do whatever I want to it.
Right.
But it does not influence anyone else who owns the same object. like, it doesn't matter how much money I spend on Fate Grand Order or Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
I have
you don't
no
own
core.
that. Yeah, you have no you. That doesn't mean you can start selling Saber t-shirts just
Right.
because you bought 6 whale packs.
Like
Maybe you should be able to because you bought 6 whale packs, but you know.
But it's I've seen NFT bros who are like, don't you want like it's the fucking Milhouse quote where he's like, you should win things by watching.
Yeah.
It's that where it's like, don't you want like, you know, a reward for the investment you put into this company? It's like, no, I bought a game. My reward is I get to enjoy a video game.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what boils down to and this again, go watch the Dan Olsen video.
Yeah.
But this boils down to another thing is that NFT dorks and crypto bros, what they want to do is like monetize everything. They want to monetize every single aspect of your life in order to increase the value of Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these other fucking derivative coins so that they can continue to make money. This is all part of the scam to make you the bigger fool. Because if your whole life is monetized and has to be on the blockchain, then you have to buy Ethereum, which drives the value of Ethereum up and makes these morons richer. But not these specific morons, because they just wasted $1.6 million on a book that you can get for free on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, but I saw one other one that was like someone talking about how like Kickstarters should allow backers like a share in the company's profits.
No.
And it's like,
that's not how it works.
No, the reward I get for the game coming out is whatever backer rewards they put out.
The game. You essentially purchased the game ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like there is no reward here beyond that, which is what, you know, is in the contract.
Oh well. Next.
Next. Legendary cartoon King of the Hill is being revived. We talked about this
in the Discord
a couple months ago too.
Oh, did we?
There were rumors of this happening.
Well, I'm sad that it's real.
Yeah.
Is mostly what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's not a ton. Mike Judge is working on it, but I mean, I don't know. This is not what I wanted.
King of the Hill is a product of its time, and it's funny because of the specific time and place that it came out. Because it came out kind of during the Clinton administration. And mostly it's another, whichever, this reboot or this 20 years later sequel or whatever. It might be good. That's fine. But it still boils down to you reselling me a thing that I watched 1 billion years ago instead of making something new. It's
not like King of the Hill has like grand story arcs that weren't wrapped up.
Right.
It's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom. It was funny when it came out, and it was funny when it ended, and it is funny to rewatch in the same way that Seinfeld is funny to rewatch. But I'm not clamoring for more new Seinfeld. It's
not going to be the same. And because you're not going to commit to revamping it in any specific way, it's not going to be different enough that it justifies its existence.
And even then, I still wouldn't want it. If you did something new with it, I wouldn't want it. And if you're doing the exact same thing just 20 years later, I still don't want it. That's what it ultimately boils down to. This is Larry David going, I don't want this.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is. It's who cares? It's okay. It's another reboot of a franchise from when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Who cares? Do something different. Do something newer.
Mike Judge, I thought you were better than this.
Well, you know, it is what it is. That is just the current media hellscape we exist in. I think King of the Hill is technically owned by Disney now too.
Well, they own Fox, right? So they would, right?
Yeah, right. So look forward to King of the Hill on Disney Plus.
Yeah, you could probably do an episode about Hank's show getting rebooted and him facing the problem of like the effects of nostalgia wearing off 15 years later. Mm-hmm. That could be a show. That could be an episode. Just do a special.
Just like one episode. Kind of funny, but a whole new series.
Like the Rocko's Modern Life one.
Yeah, that was fine. That was good. That's about all you need. Like a little, hey, we're still here, we're still making shit.
Yeah.
But a whole new series? Nah, I wasn't asking for this.
You know what else people weren't asking for, but it happened anyway?
I don't know.
Italian Senate meeting interrupted by pornography.
By Tifa getting her back blown the fuck out.
So the way I first heard about this happening, was because you know how like Twitter will like just show trends now.
Yeah.
It was a tweet from an Erythro player that was just. I didn't know Tifa was Italian.
And it has been trending on my Twitter.
Poor Tifa has been trending
for like a week now.
Over a week.
It's very funny.
And of course, the obvious joke is the clip of Tifa on the high wind after with Cloud.
Oh no!
But it's just the explosion of Tifa and Italian flags. Is great.
What did Tifa and Julius Caesar have in common now? They've both been stabbed on the floor of an Italian Senate. But yeah, it's I've seen all like the you remember back like in the Halcyon days when 4chan was good, despite 4chan never having been good.
Yeah. When
people would MS Paint over porn.
Yes.
And make it look innocuous.
Yep.
Which was, by my estimation, probably the funniest thing 4chan's ever
It was
done.
Hilarious, yeah.
It's always funny. If you can go and Google some of that shit, you should. Although that might give you weird Google results. So, you know, don't do it if you're under just don't do it if you're under 18. That's my disclaimer.
But incognito window too.
Yeah. But I've seen people doing that with the shot of what was on the Italian Senate floor. And it is very funny. Like MS painting over everything else going on, except for just like Tifa and like an Italian flag. It's extremely funny.
I saw one today that was an art of Tifa and SpongeBob, and it was ravioli, give me the formioli.
Oh, I can't believe Final Fantasy VII belongs to the Italians now. That's so tragic.
This is some intense viral marketing for Remake Part 2.
I know, Nomura, what are you thinking? Holy shit. I mean, I guess it's working, but, you know, Jesus Christ. God. What else?
So I just want to follow, like, because I was concerned, like, was this a member of Italian Senate doing their own thing, like, while the meeting was going on?
That happens on Zoom calls. You accidentally share a screen that you probably shouldn't, but, you know.
But no, it's a public Zoom thing, and someone could sneak their way in and take over.
Okay. That is also very funny, then.
Oh, yeah. And I guess it was 2 videos that got shown, but only one nobody cares about is the Tifa one.
Yeah, of course. Because we're all brain damaged.
Next, new Cuphead Netflix cartoon trailer released. Finally.
It looks fine. It looks cute.
It looks, we were never gonna get.
No, we were never
cartoon.
We're never getting Fleischer Brothers.
No,
never again. Sorry,
they're devoting all of their resources to Delicious Last Course.
Right.
If you like, I want the good animation. Well, Delicious Last Course is coming out soon, so
the good animation is called Cuphead.
Yeah,
you should just go play Cuphead instead.
This was always going to be a CG animated, cartoon. It does remind me a lot of the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse shorts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Old classic cartoon styles with modern writing and animation.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks cute. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks fun. Cuphead. I mean, I am old now, and I have made peace with my fact that I am an elderly woman, just kind of hobbling my way through life at this point. Cuphead is really popular with kids.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I didn't know the breadth of Cuphead merchandise that existed.
There is so much of it, and kids fucking love this shit, and it's very strange to me.
Kids are so weird.
I know.
My goddaughter is, she's 10, 11 now?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that they can just talk about with their friends now.
Yeah. We're old. This is an old person's conversation, by the way.
She, like we went out to dinner I went out to dinner with her mom, my cousin, and we were talking like, yeah, Layla hung out with her friends today and all they did was watch My Hero Academia. And, like, she freaks out and draws all the characters, and, like, they have big discussions at school about it, and I'm like, what? I guess,
well, that's not too weird.
No, but it's like...
kids, it was Pokemon.
But it was, like, when we were that age, who did we get a chance to, like, really in-depth talk about this stuff with? There was maybe one other person in the school.
Who was, like, really into, like, Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Pokemon was like acultural. Like, everybody was into it without really registering as anime.
It was a reset.
Yeah, but absolutely.
Because she's like, she watches Demon Slayer and she watches My Hero Academia and she's reading the manga.
I mean,
and it's like,
good for her.
I think it's great, but it just feels so foreign to me because I'm like, I had maybe 3 people in my school that I could talk to about this with.
When we were younger, the joke was that you had to conceal your power level, like DBZ, because otherwise you would face, mockery and ridicule for liking anime. So you had to kind of keep it on the down low. But at some point, partially because of My Hero Academia, it has just become the mainstream now. That's just what people do. You can just watch anime and it's fine. You can say you watch anime and nobody will bat an eye.
It's like when I went to watch Broly in theaters, and I was like, "There's little kids in here talking about like Super Saiyan Blue to their dad, who has no idea what's going on."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, "Holy shit, you guys actually know what this is."
It's crazy.
So weird. Yeah, but Cuphead, like, this is going to be huge for kids.
It's going to be huge for kids. It's very strange to me, like, like Five Nights at Freddy's is really popular with kids. Bendy and the Ink Machine. I don't know if that's as popular anymore, but it was.
The Bendy thing is the weirdest one to me because that felt very, very niche,
Yeah, like kids love it.
Five Nights at least was big with LPers and like kids watch LPers and thus picked up on Five Nights at Freddy's, kind of like Minecraft and this. But like, I didn't think Bendy and the Ink Machine was that popular with like LPers or streamers.
No, but kids fucking love it. It's very strange. It definitely is the thing that makes me feel the oldest.
Yeah. Also,
is where I just would see, what kids these days, as they say, are into, and I just go like, huh?
Cuphead specifically though makes me think like, so are they playing it? Because it's a really, really hard game.
Kids play it, and they're apparently good at it. So what I'm saying is that, but I mean, like small children now play Fortnite and whip the ass of adult men. Kids are much better at video games these days.
That is true. That is very true.
And when you're young, like I am old, as we've said, and I'm making peace with it slowly but surely. And my reaction times are not as good as they were, and frankly, they were never very good.
We've hit our peak,
I've hit my peak as a video game person, I made peace with it.
It's like 26, 28, I think, is when your reaction time hits their peak, and it's like now you have to retire.
So when you're a small child, your reaction times are far better, and you're also able to just like super hyper focus on something because you don't have to think about bills or answering your phone or any of those things that an adult plays Cuphead and may be at times struck with inexplicable ennui where they're realizing that they're old and video games are hard and they just need to go lay down for a while. And then small children don't have that problem. They just play video games and they go, yay, video games!
I wonder if it's the cultural immersion factor of it too, where it's like, when how you can throw a baby in the pool and they'll swim because they still retain the muscle memory from being in the fetus in the womb.
Mm-hmm. So mom played video games and now they're video games?
Well, no, is it like because we had to grw up before video games got good?
Oh, that's true.
We didn't start really, really playing them until we were 6.
Bold of you to assume I was playing video games when I was 6.
Also I was playing it when I was 1, so I'm also an outlier. But the generation,
yes,
they didn't really start playing them until they had hit their grade school age.
This is a detour, but who cares? I had to have maintenance guys in my apartment this weekend because my bathroom, the ceiling in my bathroom was leaking. Mm-hmm. And while my maintenance guys were in the apartment, I was playing Final Fantasy XIV. Of course, I was just doing random shit in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, because I didn't want to leave the apartment. I have a PS5 in my apartment. Not to be rude, but I don't know these people. And I have a PS5 in my apartment. You can't get those right now.
If I'm playing the PS5, they can't steal it.
Yeah, not I really think they were going to steal the PS5, but it doesn't hurt to be safe.
Yeah.
So I was playing my PS5 while they were working on the bathroom. And at one point, the guy walks in to ask me something, and he literally stops and was like, "You play video games?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I play video games." And he literally says to the other guy working on the bathroom, "Hey, this chick plays video games." I'm like, ugh. And they were 15. They were both 15 years older than me, right?
Are you serious?
And I'm just it's 2022, guys.
It's not.
And they were very They were very nice about it. They just thought it was very amusing that I am an adult woman who plays video games. And they thought it was interesting. They weren't rude about it, but it was if you ever, and I talk about this a lot because people make jokes about, girl gamers and stuff. It's not the way it was back then.
No, things have changed dramatically.
Things have changed so much. 10-year-old girls play video games all of the time now. But this is an extremely new development, as in the last 10 years, really. And so if you are from a certain cultural mindset or timeline, it is still weird to some people that a woman in their life may, in fact, play a videoed game.
It could be your neighbor. It could be your daughter.
It could be your wife. It could be you. Hard cut to 5 years after HRT. So yeah, the point to all of this, we went on a huge tangent there, as the Gorges want to do. It's the name of the podcast for a reason. The Cuphead show looks good, and kids are way too good. Kids are frankly too good at video games these days. It's making me nervous. We need to stop. I
need to be good again. Let me win.
I'm tired of getting of feeling inferior to 12-year-olds. But that'll probably just keep happening as I get older. I'll just always feel that way. So,
next, NFT Bros Metaverse Rave looks boring, dead.
Have you ever been to the Ether Crystal on Limsa?
There's always some shit going on there.
The Ether Crystal on Limsa pops off so much harder than this fucking NFT metaverse horseshit rave, and that is in the biggest finger quotes I can manage.
Good job, guys. You invented Second Life again.
But worse.
But worse.
Significantly worse. And Second Life isn't even that good.
Speaking of Fortnite, they've had concerts in Fortnite that were actually pretty cool.
They looked interesting. You have people doing their dance emotes, and there's lights flashing, and people goofing off, and the rave they had in the stupid fucking metaverse is, again, not even remotely comparable to, I don't know, 5 p.m. in Limsa on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Play any other MMO. I'm sure even World of Warcraft pops off harder than whatever the fuck that was. It was so pathetic. It was so sad. This is the future.
Quote from the Kotaku article. This glimpse of Decentraland makes it look like a fictional game that was tossed together in a few hours for an episode of CSI Whatever City, in which the investigators are trying to solve a murder that involves some new and popular online world.
Yeah, exactly. The clue is hidden in the rave. Ice-T is leaning over somebody's chair, being like, "This doesn't make any sense. You know, what are all these nerds doing? This doesn't look like a rave."
Yeah, it's just it's the worst parts of Roblox and Second Life, but boring. Once again, trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist and has already been solved.
It's called Play Final Fantasy XIV, you fucking dorks.
Confirmed.
Or don't, because I don't want you to clog the servers up.
Yeah, sales go up tomorrow again, but don't buy it.
Go away. I don't actually want to hang out with any of you people.
Confirmed. IDW to lose Transformers and G.I. Joe license at end of 2022.
Should
have went to Earth.
Should have just not canceled IDW 1. There's an idea.
Should
have maybe just kept that train going because people really liked it, and I would have just liked more than meets the eye, or more James Roberts writing Transformers comics.
IDW 2 is incredibly boring. Shattered Glass was good, but that's over already, and King Grimlock is already over. And the only thing I'm sad about losing is the Beast Wars comic, which was kind of as close as you're going to get to a spiritual More Than Meets the Eye.
Sure.
But they're going to wrap it up by the end of the year, and yeah.
I feel bad for the creatives who work on IDW Transformers, obviously, because I do think IDW 2 Transformers has really good art. All the cover art looks really cool. But that being said, this is yet another case of just classical mismanagement. Yeah. I don't think when IDW 2 launched, anybody wanted it. I think everybody was still going, you know, but what about the first one? There's still stories to tell with that one.
They really, the highlight of even from the origin of IDW 1, it started on Earth. The war was underway. They knew why we're here.
We're here to see some big dumb robots that turn into Dodge Vipers, and one of them wears a fucking Decepticon badge, and the other one wears a fucking Autobot badge, and we're here to see them punch each other, and that's it.
The Autobots wage their battles to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons.
It's there in the fucking song. You start there, and then you build up to all the robots kissing each other.
And then you can do a mini-series on Cybertron concurrently with the war, right?
And you set that one at the beginning of the war, and you explain how we got here. But you don't start with how we got here, because frankly, that don't matter.
We don't care, actually.
That's not the important part.
We want Optimus to say freedom is the right of all sentient beings, and punched Megatron in the face.
That's it. Right? That's why we're here. And then you eventually do all the emotional, baggage and redemption arcs and shit like that. Yeah. But you can't start with the boring part. You gotta start with the cool shit if you want your story to keep going. Especially because American comics take a really long time to come out.
They are still not even hinting at going to Earth by the time this news broke.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're supposed to wrap all this up into a tidy bow. They probably won't. It'll probably be a huge fucking mess.
It'll be like a weird timeline where the war just doesn't happen because they ran out of time.
That might be cool. Maybe that might force them to do something cool with the friend. But think about it. Transformers, IDW 2, just the main book, once a month, right? Yeah. About 20 pages per issue. You have 12 issues in that case to wrap this shit up.
That's you can't do it. No, it is absurd. And IDW 1 just did a bunch of mini-series collections before leading into long-running series when all the groundwork was already established, right? And it still took them a long time. They started in 2005.
Yeah. And I will say, IDW did own the Transformers comic license longer than anybody has ever owned the license.
Yeah.
17 years is a long time. And most people who have owned the license did not make it that long. So it was a good, by all metrics, it was a good run, but it probably could have kept going if you hadn't rebooted it, because people really liked the version of shit that was going on in IDW1, and then you replaced it with something more boring.
So yeah,
Don't do that.
There's no talks of who is going to get the license next, if anyone. Like maybe they're just not going to do comics for a while.
Right.
I kind of hope it's Boom, because I want the Power Rangers artists to work on this.
Sure.
But please not Marvel. Please don't let it go back to Marvel. Or maybe do let it go back to Marvel. I don't know. Someone,
who cares? It's just not good. You should have made more than ECI.
Yeah.
That's you could have saved your whole business if you had just made more than ECI. There's my professional opinion.
Like, this sucks, but at the expense of sounding harsh, I got what I wanted out of IDW Transformers, so
right. And plus, yet again, American comics is dog shit. It's hard to get, they're hard to read. Unless you go to a store, it's not there's never any option to just do what fucking Viz does and spend X amount of dollars a month on an app that lets you read as much as you want. And I know American comics are more expensive to make because they are glossier and prettier and have color and multiple people are working on them. But I think most people on planet Earth would pay $10 a month to read Transformers comics.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would.
I definitely would.
That'd be great. Viz has a huge backlog and just whatever is running in Shonen Jump right now. And so they can afford to only charge $2 a month. But $10 is still not bad.
It's
just
not.
for unlimited, Transformers and G.I. Joe and fucking what else ever.
Like, if you're going to commit to it and, like, read a bunch of stuff, yeah, it's totally worth it.
That'd be great, yeah. Instead of having to go to Get Comics Online and be bombarded with 800 ads for Russian mail order rides.
Yeah. Dark Souls servers down due to exploit that could give someone control of your PC.
This is one I did not hear, so please regale me.
This is, they've turned out the PCs for servers for 1, 2, and 3 following reports of a nasty RCE exploit. So let me see if I can find a good summation of it in this article. Where is it in this article? This is like very, very new to quote, the Dark Souls RC exploit was seen in action 2 days ago during a Dark Souls 3 live stream. Twitch user The Grim Sleeper was playing the game, and after getting invaded, his game crashed and a text-to-speech narrator began speaking. So it's okay, here's the subreddit. There was posted on the Elden Ring subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, from that, RCE stands for Remote Code Execution, which means that hackers can run arbitrary code on your machine without permission. This is a serious exploit that can cause lasting damage to your computer and all of its contents. By using this, hackers can take control of your PC and essentially do whatever they want with it. They can break your computer, steal your logins and banking information, execute malicious malware like Bitcoin miners, and much more. So, something in the invading mechanic has caused this exploit. So,
damn.
Just shut it all down and then fix it.
Don't play it for a while until they fix it. Yeah, this to happen to Dark Souls of all games, like especially this much later after the game came out, is surprising. Yeah. It's very weird that it took them like this long to even find the exploit that would allow it to happen. But I mean, that's why people spend years trying to crack open video games.
Yeah, so fortunately it also is only on PC, so it's not you can play your console versions without a problem. Sure. And then finally, the Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer Summer 2022 announcement.
It's been 17 years.
Wow.
Oh my god! I was going to bed last night and I saw this news, and I What? Huh? What? Huh?
In case
It literally has been 17 years since the first chapter of Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer came out.
So in case you don't know, the Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer was a manga that was pretty good. It was very underrated. It did not have a huge fandom. It had a very solid premise and a bunch of really, really interesting characters.
Yeah, it's basically like it is the premise of a shonen manga as written for a seinen audience.
Yeah.
Because Biscuit Hammer is a seinen manga. It didn't run in any of the shonen books.
Right.
It ran in a seinen magazine instead. So it has the generalized premise of a shonen story, of a shonen battle manga, which is a handful of knights in like a modern era are chosen by animal familiars to serve a princess and fight monsters, right?
Yep.
It's a very bog standard shonen battle manga premise, except done in an insanely interesting and captivating way because it is written from the premise of a seinen writer instead. So the main character is a college student, and so he's going through like a lot of shit.
And the important thing is that it's not a subversion of shonen, right?
It plays it all totally straight. It's just approaching it from a more grounded,
mature perspective.
It isn't about like it. Shonen manga is about youth and energy and
it's what if the shonen protagonist big brother was the main character?
Yeah, and that's literally the protagonist of Biscuit Hammer. By the way, show has a completely different name, or manga has a completely different name in Japan. It's called Hoshino Samidare, which is the main girl. Her name is Samidare. I don't know why this name comes from scanlators, because we're old and come from a totally different time in reality, where all of your manga was translated by free volunteers who just took on projects that they thought sounded cool instead of people getting paid to do it. And for some reason, the OG scanlators for Biscuit Hammer, or Hoshino Samidare, decided to call it Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer.
The Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer. Not Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Uh-huh.
No, it's the Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer.
And the names make sense.
They do.
Those things are in this manga, but I don't know why they decided to totally change the name. But it is I guess because it is a more interesting name. But it is an extremely interesting, pretty short little series. It's 120 chapters, I think.
It's got some length, but it's a comfortable length, and
totally
like manageable. I said, very underrated. It never really took off the way we feel it deserved.
Oh my god,
we were both huge fans of it when we read it back in the day.
Huge, yes.
And no one talked about it. There
was a because again, we are both people who came from Plus 4chan a billion years ago. There was like a dedicated thread on Plus 4chan for talking about it, and basically everybody was reading that.
Yeah.
And that was where we were, like, our friend group was talking about it there. And of course there was some evangelizing in other parts of the internet of like, hey, you should really read this. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And it just never really took off. It was always a very cult classic, but I suppose it ended up having a cult following,
I guess, and it took long enough for the rumblings to happen that we're getting an anime 17 years later.
This manga ran from April 2005 to August of 2010, and we are finally getting, and I honestly, Biscuit Hammer anime existed in the same place in my brain as Baccano's Season 2. As in, it will never happen, ever, ever, ever. And so fuck it, maybe Baccano's Season 2 could happen.
Like, we all thought we had hit the point where it's like, all right, well, the time has passed. Like, it's been
too long. It's been too, like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, okay, it has been too long. It's never going to happen. And I eventually made peace with it. It's like, okay, fine.
Like, like the dream was always like, oh, Gainax Biscuit Hammer anime, right?
I don't know who's made.
I don't know either.
Yeah, they haven't announced who's producing it yet.
All I know is they better get the Pillows to do an opening or an ending.
God, please, I'm begging you. They're the only people who could do the music for Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer. Please.
And the funny thing about this is that I have no idea how to even recommend it because I don't know where you can read it.
That is a good question.
It's not on the Viz app, so like, are there official? I don't think it ever got translated officially.
According to Wikipedia, the current English publisher digitally of Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer is Crunchyroll. Huh. So apparently I didn't know that Crunchyroll manga. Hold on. I didn't know that Crunchyroll had manga, but apparently it does. Oh my god, Crunchyroll has manga.
Wow.
We gotta Google this right now. Hoshi no Samidare. It's very weird to call it its actual name. You know, it's actually that translates to Samidare of the Stars, which is
a more fitting title.
That is its actual name, yes. But also, no, it's Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer. Shut up. No. Well, trying to look for it on Crunchyroll's manga app does not give me anything. So maybe they're not running it anymore. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know.
Oh no, there it is. Okay, yeah, Hoshi no Samadare, the Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer.
All right.
It is all there. So yeah, that is where you can read it. Extremely goddamn recommend it. It is so good. It's definitely one of those manga that when you read it, it kind of shifts your perception of like what a battle storyline can do, because it's telling this story of kind of being a misanthropic college student who's got brain problems because of stuff that happened to him when he was stuff that happened to him when he was a young man, and like really trying to find that motivation to become your better self. It's not about even getting stronger necessarily. It's about like finding the resolve to become a better version of you that other people can rely on, and falling in love. It is probably my favorite love story in probably any manga I've ever read, because it is such an interesting, it is the love story of two deeply damaged individuals who learn to become better by supporting each other. It's also the only manga that actually has funny panty shot jokes, which I didn't think was possible, but it has extremely funny panty shot jokes. Yeah. So big recommend. I love it. Please, God, watch it when it comes out. God almighty, please watch it when it comes out and read the manga and support it officially.
Please be excited when it comes out.
Because I can't imagine that they're going to be able to cover the whole thing in one season.
Yeah, so, we got to make sure we get at least 2 out of this thing.
I gotta get two seasons out of it. Like a fucking 30 run, maybe even 26 episodes. And a movie would get us there. Yeah. You know? That would do it justice. It's 110, 120 chapters or something like that. And that would get us there. Any other truncating and you're totally losing it.
Yeah.
But also I'm wondering because this manga came out in 2005. Nobody had smartphones then.
Yeah, what's it going to look like?
Are they going to
update it a little bit?
I don't know. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I am so happy. This is the year. I don't even know what to do. This is the year Mob Psycho 3 comes out.
Oh my god.
Mob Psycho Season 3 is finally happening this year, and so is the goddamn Biscuit Hammer anime. Like, are you kidding me?
I'm still in disbelief that we're getting a Biscuit Hammer anime.
I know. It doesn't seem real. I thought it,
I had put that series
I had to Google
rest.
super hard to make sure that it wasn't a prank.
Like, I had put that series to rest. Like, I was
absolutely.
I have stopped thinking about it because, like, I know there's nothing is ever going to come from it. You know?
Sure, absolutely. I read it and I liked it, and I got I got out of it what I needed to get out of it.
Yeah.
Although you are all welcome, because I was literally thinking of Biscuit Hammer like 3 weeks ago. So I will say that I manifested this. You're welcome.
Yes.
It's all on to me. So. And if it sucks, then that's also my fault. But God, please, God, let it be good.
I can't imagine it sucking. Like, come on.
Unless it's some dog shit studio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, but I want to believe. I'm choosing to believe until I am proven otherwise, because please. Okay. So anime television series is being directed, at least according to Wikipedia, by Nobuaki Nakanishi. What has he worked on?
Because the official announcement site is still in Japanese only, so yes. I don't know what is going on with
it. He did stuff with Cardcaptor Sakura, but I don't know if that means that reboot anime that came out a few, like 2 or 3 years ago, or what. Most of this stuff is stuff I've never heard about, but not like in a bad capacity.
Just
so it could be good. It's just stuff. He doesn't have a lot of credits. It could be good. Yeah. Who knows?
We'll give it the standard 3, right? 3 episodes, and then that lets you know.
Please be good. Please, I'm begging you, on my hands and knees, God in heaven.
Get the pillows to do one song.
Just get the pillows to do the OP or the ED. But I will die if it's bad. I will die. My whole body will shrivel and die, and none of you will ever see me again. So maybe a few of you are hoping that the Biscuit Hammer anime will be bad. But still. It's so good.
2022 is going to be an interesting year.
Yes. Just be good. Just be good. Please. Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be it for us. Thank you to Vistra for use of background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to Sara talk about other things, you can listen to her other podcast.
My other podcast is Big Gay Nerds, a series podcast where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out a lot of different systems to kind of see what sticks. It's always a lot of fun. Right now we're playing Beam Saber, a mech pilot hack of Forged in the Dark. So instead of doing cool heists, we are cool giant robot pilots trying to navigate a complicated and globe-spanning sort of Cold War. I like it a lot. I really like the system. We have a really good cast and a really good GM, GM'd by my good friend Saturn. So head on over to Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can release the rest of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us. As always, fuck Bobby Kotick. Yeah.
Hey, we did it. Every time, folks. on the same wavelength right here.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.